Food has no boundaries. Everyone treasures their own cuisines, but for newcomers, food takes on other meanings. They diligently preserve their cuisine to give a taste of home to their new American home, instill the love of their home country to their children, and lastly, proudly represent their culture in our America the Beautiful. Spice and Recipe does all the above by introducing recipes from different countries enriched with human stories and comparison of tradition. Hi, I'm Mike DiGiacomo, a born and raised American and a food lover, and I invite you to join me as we discover the origins of flavor, the journey of spices, and the recipes of the world. Welcome to Spice and Recipe. I'm Mike DiGiacomo, your host, and today I'm inviting you to learn about a very flavorful herb, a symbol of freshness, parsley. Here's a short segment about parsley, a great herb, and then we'll come back in the studio, but make sure you continue watching because we have a surprise for you right after this segment. Parsley is a widely used herb native to the Mediterranean region, but that has naturalized all over Europe, Minor Asia, and North America. Parsley is used both as an herb and a vegetable. This relates to the fact that there are three main kinds of parsley: curly parsley, flat parsley, or root parsley. Each is associated with one European country or city. Curly parsley is also known as French parsley and is mainly used for garnishing dishes. Flat parsley, known as Italian parsley, adds much flavor to the dish and can be used to garnish as well. Remember to always add your Italian parsley at the end, as the herb will lose its fresh flavor when boiled for a long time. Root parsley or Hamburg parsley or even Dutch parsley is similar to turnip, parsnip, or carrots in shape. It is white in color and used as a root vegetable in many stews. Parsley is great for just about everything, adding a fresh flavor to salads, soups, stews, marinating sauces, dressings, pickles, and so on. You get the picture. Sold as fresh or dried or seeds, parsley is a very affordable herb, costing about $1 for one bunch of fresh parsley. I remember last week when my guest Ankela Vebu, originally of Albania, was in the studio. We agreed to swap places, and I prepare a recipe for you today. So let's do this. Welcome back to the studio, Ankela. How are you?
Well, I'm very good.
Well, and you're very good because you put me on the spot.
Yes.
On television. You didn't ask me offset.
Well, you always ask questions, but let's see how easy it is to answer questions.
Yeah,
actually.
I can answer any question you got for me today.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for agreeing to let me direct or host the show today. Do you want to swap places?
Yeah, we better switch.
All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. And I'm going to look here, just like you do, and I'm going to say, all right, Mike, now, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a second generation Italian. My grandparents came from Italy, from Sicily, Carlentini, Sicily, which is a small town on the kind of the eastern side of Sicily. My grandfather immigrated to the United States in the early to mid 1920s. At some point, he went back and found my grandma, my nana, and then they came back on the boat together, pregnant with my aunt. I think they got to the United States in 1929, 1930, 1931, right in that area.
All right. The boat probably left them in New York.
It did.
How did they end up in Omaha?
Just like all these immigrant stories come through New York, right?
Ellis Island?
Yeah. And, you know, the joke for Italians is a lot of people were named Tony because it says to NY, to New York. So that's the joke for Italians, yeah, to New York.
All right.
So they would write it on them, to New York. Yeah,
okay.
So, but no, my grandfather's name was Alfio, Joe DiGiacomo. And then they eventually immigrated to Omaha because Omaha, Nebraska, is where a large population of Italians immigrated to because of the railroads and the stockyards.
So jobs, actually.
For jobs, and so once, just like a lot of immigrant communities, once somebody got to an area, then they called back all their friends and family, and they all came. So 75% of the Italians in Omaha are from the small town of Carlentini, Sicily.
Carlentini.
And even to this day, I still have cousins over there, and to this day, there's a huge partnership between the city of Omaha and Carlentini, Sicily.
All right.
Back in the 30s, the Omaha Italians sent over a chandelier, a Murano glass chandelier that hangs in the church in Sicily.
In Carlentini.
In Carlentini, very strong ties. And so
All right.
You know, and that's how my family got here.
And we do have a little Italy area here, right?
Yeah, there is.
Very
Yeah,
close to downtown.
Yeah, they all immigrated and lived in one part of the neighborhood
Okay.
called Little Italy. Now it has changed over the years because they've spread out over the town, but that part of
Still
town
there.
is still,
Yeah.
you know, referred to as Little Italy.
If we just start talking about our countries, it's going to take
Hey, yeah, we better get to the
forever,
recipe.
right?
Yeah,
all
we can go down a rabbit hole
Well,
quickly.
so what are we making today?
Well, we're going to make an Italian bread steak. Now, this is more of an Italian-American dish
Okay.
as opposed to true hardcore Italian. But, you know, that's the great thing about these recipes. When immigrants, whatever country it is, come to the United States, sometimes they adapt it and change,
Okay.
you know, stuff that came from
All right.
the mainland. So we're going to make a breaded steak.
All right, breaded steak.
Okay, so
So-
we're going to start. So you have the meat. This
What
just
cut is this?
It's a breakfast steak, like a little petite
Okay.
steak. You can get different types of cuts for this. The breakfast cuts, because they're smaller and they're just a
Okay.
little bit easier. But I typically use Romano. This is kind of a cheese blend. This is a Romano Parmesan mixture right here. Some Italian breadcrumbs if you would like. You can get the plain breadcrumbs or you can get them with the Italian seasoning in there. This has the seasoning. And of course this right here, the parsley. This
The
is the
parsley.
Italian parsley. This is our
Our
herb for the
right?
show,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Like we said in the pieces, it's just a fresh herb. Just
Yeah.
provides a little bit of freshness to everything.
You use it a lot, Mike, in your cooking, parsley?
Oh yeah,
or
I think
Italian
we do quite.
recipes?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do,
Put it
right?
on, yeah. Cheese
When-
breads,
yeah.
pastas.
Pastas. How
Yeah,
about when
definitely.
you prepare
sauce
for your pasta?
I don't. No, not really.
Nothing?
More basil in the sauce.
Oh, yes,
and maybe a little
that's
bit of
right.
oregano, but mostly basil in the sauce.
Okay. All right.
And then we just have some pepper, some garlic, salt down here, and then a couple eggs
Okay.
and some milk.
All
Because
right.
we're going to make a traditional. Well, if you've breaded anything before, we're going to make kind of the egg wash.
All right.
So that's where we start.
That's, I'm sure that we have that back in Albania, but I never sold anything like this when I started breading things here in the United States. So I am looking
Well,
forward
that's
to see
because
how you do
when
it.
you bread things, you fry them, and that's a more of an American tradition. You just fry everything, right?
All right.
So I think we should really start. I want to start with the meat because this is what takes the longest
Okay.
time.
Okay.
So we just take a cut. I'm going to take the smaller one. And then you just tenderize it with a meat tenderizer. What do you call it?
Mallet.
A meat mallet.
I got it right.
That's right. And you know, we may want to just slice this in half because when you tenderize it, you're gonna pound it thin. It's gonna spread and it's gonna make a bigger piece. So let's just
Okay.
cut it in half.
Okay.
So I always knew on Sundays my mom was gonna make some breaded steak.
Really?
When you heard the pounding. When you heard the pounding, I'd be downstairs. When you heard the pounding, you knew we were gonna have breaded steak. It was like music to my ears.
Oh.
So
What?
go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, when did you realize that you like cooking, Mike?
Oh, I think when I moved out and I moved to college, after college, because
Okay.
in college you just ate in the dormitories and whatnot.
All right.
But I think when I got my own house and lived on my own and I had the opportunity to have a kitchen and everything, yeah, I didn't move too far away. I was only 60 miles from home, but
Still,
I
though, you
still
had
missed.
to-
I couldn't go back every weekend
Yeah.
to eat, you know, my favorite
Mom's.
pasta dishes. So I just kind of got involved. I'd have my mom at that time. She'd have to read me the recipes over the phone because there was no email. Like she couldn't just send it to me.
Yeah.
So you want to pound these pretty thin.
Uh-huh.
And I think you want to get them, when you think you've pounded it thin enough, pound it a little bit more, but you don't want it to get so thin that it breaks apart.
Okay.
Okay, see how that's getting pretty thin? So
You can see through? Can you?
No, not yet. It's getting there.
yet.
It's
Yeah.
still a little thick
All right.
here on this side.
Okay.
So you can see how when you hear that noise, you start
Not
getting
only wakes
excited.
you up, but
it
you
wakes
go
you up.
back, all right.
My dad would be on the couch watching golf, and that perks you right up.
All right. So that was Sunday breakfast?
No, it's for dinner.
For dinner.
She would start
All
in the
right.
afternoon.
Okay. Is Mom Italian too?
She's not. So
She's not?
she got all her recipes from my nana.
Oh, from your grandma.
Yeah.
All right.
From her mother-in-law.
Okay.
So this is about right, just like
Uh-huh.
that. See how thin that is? Very thin. Okay, you can almost see through
Yeah,
it. Oops,
yeah,
sorry, I pulled it out of the
yeah.
frame, but you can kind of almost see through it, but
Yes.
not really. Okay. So I'm gonna do the other one real quick.
Okay.
How many do you think we should make? How many times do we have time?
Well, I would say just two.
Yeah.
Okay. I bet my kids
about
will
right.
like this one.
Kids would have a great time. My
Yeah.
son loves doing this.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
good.
a nice mallet too. Okay, so now that you have the meat there, that's what takes the longest part because usually you make more than 2 pieces. You make 30, right? And so that takes the longest amount of time.
All right.
So
can you buy it already tenderized?
Not as thin as you need
Okay.
it. Not as thin.
Okay.
Usually, if I see some of the steak, I will go to the meat counter and I'll have them put it through the tenderizer.
Okay.
But it never gets quite thin enough.
Where you
and
want it,
the
right?
tenderizers they use puts a lot of holes in them and it starts to break it apart if you feed it through too many times. So you got to do some work at home.
Okay.
Okay. So let's
I
make
help?
the egg wash.
Yes.
Okay? So the egg wash is 2 eggs.
Okay.
And obviously increase this for your recipe if you're gonna have many more pieces of meat.
Okay. I've never seen you cooking, Mansi.
Yeah, get out of the way. It's gonna get crazy in here.
Hallelujah, yeah.
Okay, so we'll put some pepper in, however you want, how much you want.
You like spice, don't you?
I do, but I also like the garlic.
The garlic? This is garlic salt.
This is garlic salt. I love the garlic salt. You want garlic in there. And I'm gonna also put some of the garlic salt in the mixture as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna whisk, you whisk away.
I see that you have milk there, right?
Yep.
Are you going to put in the milk here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. My son, the second one, loves to cook, and usually when he marinates or does chicken fingers, he uses buttermilk.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, buttermilk would be good for that. Make chicken fingers.
But here is strictly milk, right?
Yeah, we just use milk. I mean, you can always put different ingredients in the recipe, so if you wanted to use a buttermilk or something, that may change the flavor a little bit. Maybe more southern style. So that's the egg wash.
Okay.
Now you really want to have the balance between the cheese and the breadcrumb ratio is very important.
All right.
Some say you want a little bit more cheese, a little bit more breadcrumb than cheese so it bonds together.
Okay.
But I like the cheese, a little more cheese than the bread. So it just depends on how you like it.
Okay.
But here, let me grab here. Usually a cup is good. So if you're going to make a big recipe, obviously do more than that. So there's roughly a cup. I overspilled a little bit, but there's roughly a cup, right? That's the breadcrumb.
And you're just going to grab cheese.
I'm just going to grab the cheese. I'll put it in like that.
Okay.
See, just a little bit more cheese.
All right.
A little more cheese.
Yeah. Well, you can't go wrong with cheese. I love cheese. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm going to put a little bit.
Some more garlic
Just
salt?
a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
Put it in there. Now the key ingredient right here, this is our parsley.
Parsley.
And you just want to chop it up. You know, you don't really want the stems in there, but the leaves will be good. So I just put it in a ball and I'm just going to start chopping. I don't know what the best method is. I'm not a professional cook. I'm just a home cook.
Yeah. This is how I do it too.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah,
Just
this
ball
is
it
how,
up
yeah. Sometimes I pretend like I know stuff, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to pretend to be an expert here. I just, I'm just a home cook guy.
Yeah. So Mike, do you cook just mainly Italian recipes at home, or
That's what,
what's the combination there in your household?
I'm mostly Italian cooking because I want to perfect all my dishes.
All
so the
right.
more I do them, I feel like the better I get at them, and I add different twists to them.
Okay.
We do pastas a lot on Sundays. You know,
Okay.
it's kind of a traditional Italian American thing on Sundays, and my kids don't necessarily like that because they say, "Oh, we're having pasta again."
Yeah.
But they will appreciate that someday.
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's enough parsley.
Okay.
Just put the parsley in.
Do you need a spoon or a fork to
Well,
mix, or you use hands?
I use my hands.
Very good.
If that's
very,
okay.
very good. Yes.
I wash them several times throughout this process. It probably works best to use grated cheese rather than the shredded type of cheese here.
Yeah.
But this works just fine because it all melts together anyways.
Okay.
But at least if it's grated, it has a similar consistency as the breadcrumbs.
Okay. And you said Romano cheese, right?
I
Can you find that?
Romano.
Can you find
yeah,
it here?
Romano is very, very common.
Okay. All right.
It's just got a little sharper taste.
Okay.
You know, I think most Italians use the Romano more than the Parmesan.
Okay.
The Parmesan probably has more popularity.
Yeah.
You know, nationally,
yeah,
but
yeah. All right. So
is that it?
What comes next?
That's it. Okay, we got our two things made. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to use. You can use olive oil, but Mazola oil, like the good stuff, is probably best. You want to coat maybe, I don't know, a little 1/4 of an inch in the pan,
All right.
in the frying pan, just like that, because you want
Okay.
to layer it.
All right.
And you want that
Finally, you know how to turn that.
Finally, after 20 episodes, I figured out how to turn this thing on. So you kind of want to let that warm up a little bit.
Okay.
To go before you throw the.
All right.
Before you throw the meat, I'm gonna throw the meat right here,
Okay.
so we're all ready to go.
All right.
We'll be ready to go.
Okay. Well, that warms up. I just wanted to ask you a question that is not related to cooking per se. How I see that you're very much attached to your roots, Italian roots, and you're a second generation. How did you manage to build that bond? That's
a great question. You know, I'm a part of the Italian community here and some of the Italian organizations in Omaha.
Okay.
I think, you know, I think there's an evolution of immigrants as they come to a country. I haven't studied this professionally. I don't have a PhD. It's just my observation in working in the community for a long time. But I think the first generation kids just want to assimilate, just want to be Americans, right? Because they come over and many times their parents may speak with an accent, right? And so they're maybe different. So I think the kids maybe have more of a desire to assimilate as Americans and be Americans, right?
Okay.
Which was my dad and his age group, right?
Yeah.
So then my generation, his kids, I think, have a desire to get back to their roots of where they came from. And I think, you know, I don't know what the third generation is like. I haven't studied that part. I'm watching my kids as they go. But I did see that, you know, I did a documentary on the Italian community in Omaha and how it relates back to Sicily. And that seemed to be the common theme with different people I would talk to.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Is it ready, Mike?
I think so.
Or not yet?
It's
good?
Ready. It feels warm to me. Okay, so what you're going to do, it's just like if you've ever used an egg wash before. Very similar.
Yeah.
Let me get close. So I want you to do this, actually.
Me?
Yeah, I want you. I'll do the first piece.
All right.
Well, you have your wedding ring on.
Here it is. I'm taking it off again.
So you put the meat in. Make sure you get it soaked. Okay. The egg wash is there. Then put it in the cheese bread.
I know how to do this. I'm good at this.
You know how this part goes. And then you just want to make sure it gets nice and coated in here because this is the good stuff. This is what really gives it some zing, okay?
And this doesn't need to stay here for half an hour or so.
No.
Just you coat and then you...
And then drop it right in the frying pan if you can see that, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You want to turn it down. You don't want grease to splatter all over the place. I'm going to just turn it down a little bit.
Okay. So I saw you put a layer on top of it, and then you pressed it down a little.
Yeah.
Turn it over.
Make sure you get all and then press it in there so that it adheres
Like
to the meat. Yeah.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, it's great. It's that parsley. It just gives it that fresh flavor.
Very, very good. Yeah. Is it good? Did I do a good job?
It's perfect.
All right.
I like it.
Okay.
And just drop it right in there. Probably 2 or 3 minutes each side, if that.
Oh, it's that quick.
It's pretty quick, yeah, because you pounded it so thin that it cooks the meat pretty thoroughly in a short amount of time.
That's helpful because usually beef, when I cook beef here and I prepare stew, it takes about 2 or 2 hours and a half to cook or to be tender. So
yeah, if you're using it to be tender like that, this will still be tender because it's so thin. It should break apart. You don't want it to be chewy.
Okay. And what do you serve it with usually?
Well, typically, you know, if you make it on a Sunday, you'll serve with pasta.
Well, pasta. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, if it's a big spread, you know, this is just one of the meat dishes. Sometimes you'll have meatballs with it. You'll have beef braciole with it, whatever you want. But traditionally, you'll have a pasta with it.
Okay.
You can do a red pasta, or you can do a naked pasta with just you know, olive oil and garlic or whatever you want.
Okay. All right. Well, Mike, you when you sent the recipe and was telling us about the recipe, you said that you can serve it with Italian peppers as well.
I did, huh?
What is that? Is there a specific
Did I say Italian peppers?
Yeah.
You know. Well,
and if it was a typo, that's okay.
I think what I meant was roasted peppers.
Roasted
Italian.
pepper.
You roast them,
Okay.
yeah.
All
you
right.
can have them with peppers.
Okay.
Like Italian roasted peppers with like in a zugu sauce.
Okay.
Like a red sauce, and then you cook those down and you blend it all together. So it is like it's not an Italian pepper. It's like
it's just a regular.
It's like a green and here's the combination. It's a green pepper, a red pepper, onion.
We have the little one.
An onion. That's a little one. We want a big one.
We have a little one. Onion, we need a big one. All right.
Chop them up, saute them in oil, garlic, all the traditional stuff, and then you add some pasta sauce into it, and it turns into it's an Italian-American Italian peppers dish.
All right.
Okay, and then sometimes you serve that on the side.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, I think these are ready to flip.
Okay.
And I love the way this smells. 'Cause
Yeah,
again,
it does.
it just
smells
reminds
really
me
good.
of, going to Italian dinners at my nana's or my mom's house, or even just going to some family members who are making this dish on a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, that's a great tradition. Mike, have you ever been to Italy?
I've been 3 times, yeah.
What is the feeling? You're a second generation. You had heard about Italy. I've heard that some people, just when they cross into the border or when the plane lands, they just feel home. Although they weren't born there. They
That's
just
true.
heard the stories.
I think, any nationality, when you have grandparents or parents that are from there and they bring those traditions into their home, and they speak a certain language, you go back to that country where it originated, it feels like home. It is an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, this is probably getting pretty close to done.
All right.
And it is.
All right.
Okay.
I can't wait to try. Will we need? We'll need knives, right?
I will take some paper towels right there.
Paper towels, yes, absolutely.
And then, because I'm going to set this on a paper towel just to soak up some of the grease.
Okay.
I got to keep my cholesterol down.
Yeah.
Right.
We're only getting young here, so we.
That's right. So
we have to watch what we eat, right?
Let the grease
Looks
drip
really
off.
nice.
And you know what? You can even put this in a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
With some rotellas or Orsi's bread, either one.
Orsi's.
Some Italian bread.
Horses. Not many people outside of Omaha know what horses is.
No, but you can put it in a sandwich, and you can put the Italian peppers on there, or if you want some Italian, some red sauce on there, that'd be fine too. Okay, should we plate it?
Yes, please.
Okay. It does cool fairly quickly, simply because it is so thin. But I do want you to be careful.
Can I try?
Absolutely, it's best.
Usually
when
it's you that has that advantage of trying.
I do.
And you
Okay.
use a knife and fork?
Yeah, absolutely.
Show me. How do you eat your pasta?
Well, sometimes, if nobody's watching, I just go like this. And just eat it. But most of the time, I'll cut it up.
And maybe we can show it on
Yeah,
camera.
and it shouldn't be too tough, right? It should just cut pretty easy.
No, it is.
See the inside of it? Is it? Yeah, it's cooked all the way through.
It is.
Sometimes if people like it medium rare, you can take
Okay.
it off a little quicker.
All right.
So,
Well, the colors are beautiful. I really like this coat here.
yes.
Oh, I really like it. And it's a little crunchy. I love that.
It's a little crunchy on the inside and
Yeah.
soft. Or
Okay.
crunchy on the outside, soft.
All right.
A little hot. Boom.
Parsley. Oh my goodness. Mike, I'm gonna be at your house every time you cook this one. Very, very, can I have another bite? So if I want pasta, I just do this
Yeah,
and
yeah, just
this is just
That's just
some
a naked
butter,
pasta,
right?
yeah.
Naked, you call it naked, right?
Yeah, naked pasta.
Naked pasta. And this one, like this.
Absolutely. You blend it all together, it's
Bon appetit.
heaven in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
It is hot. It is a little hot. We did just take it out. We just take it out of the oil, so it's good to go. You enjoy that? And so this is a fairly typical Sunday at our house, right? Maybe some Italian sausage too, or you pick your meat. Maybe Italian sausage, maybe meatballs, braciole, breaded meat, maybe a combination of both. Always pasta, always Sunday.
Yeah, all Sunday, yeah.
So,
Well,
that's it.
grazie mille, Mike. Thank you so much, and
Yeah.
I really will try to do this
Yes.
recipe because it's easy as well.
Yeah,
It's
it is very
really
easy. Yeah, that's why I brought this recipe, because it's so easy. And the recipe's on the website, newamericansmedia.com. That's the website you can go to. This episode's also, if you're not watching it on YouTube, it's going to be on YouTube as well. So subscribe to that YouTube channel
Yes,
as well.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Or no, thanks for being
Thank you
here.
for letting me.
Thanks
Yeah.
for being on the show.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot. Well, thanks for watching out there. Appreciate it. Go out there and have a great day. OMA and USA.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Mike DiGiacomo, host of Spice and Recipe, The Origins of Flavor. If you love spices, then this is your channel. Subscribe here to learn all about the flavors of food and life as we travel around the world. We'll see you soon.